Hey, you guys, Cindy here. Hope you guys are doing well. Happy Wednesday before Thanksgiving. And I was actually thinking about them Black Friday, right? Isn't it crazy? Oh my gosh. I'm curious, who's crazy and goes out there and goes Black Friday shopping and or gets up, goes out at midnight or 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm just curious. Let me know if you're one of those people. I'm not going to call you crazy because I think there are a lot of people that do it. So one of those crazy shoppers that love to just envelop the holiday spirit by doing that. I have gone Black Friday shopping in the past, and I've usually tried to avoid places that have a lot of high traffic. But anyway, I am definitely not going to do that this year. I prefer to do it online. I know. So anyway, happy day before Thanksgiving. I would, and thinking about this day, I love to think about things that I'm thankful for and, and I would love to hear what you guys are up to too and what you're thankful for this Thanksgiving. And really hear about that piece, because I think, sometimes if you're in a spot where you're dating or you're maybe even in a new relationship and you're not spending the holidays together yet, or, feelings can come up around that. And what I like to do is focus on the gratitude around where you're at in your journey today. And then we get to focus on other things. So I was talking yesterday, I'm so sorry, my internet was really spotty in the place I was at. I was in an event, and I was talking to you guys a little bit about, dating in the holidays. And quite frankly, it's as I mentioned yesterday, and I'm going to dive into our topic here in just a moment. As I mentioned yesterday, it's a really fun time to get to know someone. There's a lot of things going on. There's activities, and I think activities breed connection. Men really do bond with women through doing things together, through having connection. And I know that we can, feel awkward about, is there an expectation? Is it, anything? And, the answer is no. What if you get to know someone over the next couple of weeks and then Christmas rolls around, you get them a gift, whatever. It's not even thinking about that. It's thinking about what would you like? Maybe you have a conversation and say to somebody new that, gosh, I'm a gift giver, and I'm really enjoying us getting to know each other. And I'm just wondering that if I did give you a gift, what you would think about that. Having that kind of conversation from the get-go can open things up, let go of the awkwardness. And, some men just, are gift givers as well, or, intuitively think it would be really nice to get her something for, as a token of this holiday season and our connection this holiday season, and not to even make a lot of meaning out of that. So you guys, I hope this helps in dating in the holidays, and I want to jump into online scammers because this is a really big thing. I hear it from almost everyone that I talk to has been what is called catfished. And catfished is, basically somebody presenting themselves as something that they are not. So there's that. And I'm going to give you some guidelines as to what to look out for when it comes to online scammers and how to identify them too. Quickly. So an online scammer will typically have, there's typically a few different, they will make some claims like maybe they live in a Western country, maybe they live in Australia, or they live in, someplace kind of far away from maybe where you are. Let's say you're in the United States. You could even be in another country. It doesn't matter. I've had clients overseas that have been the victims or subject of online dating scams. So here's what to look for is, so that could be it. They tend to live a distance away. A lot of times their professions tend to be engineers. Sometimes they'll say they're in the military. I mean, they'll definitely say different things, but those are two of the big ones, okay? Third, typically they are on location somewhere out of your country working on a project. So they're doing that for work. And yeah, oh, good. Thanks, Patricia. Yes, this is a really great topic. It's important, and please, you guys, feel free to write down any questions because I know I can miss things in our live conversation. So, so those are things to look for. They will oftentimes message you and actually say to you fairly quickly that they're not talking to anyone else, that they would like to pursue something with you when they haven't met you yet and they've only had a few messages with you. That's another red flag. They will try to move the conversation off the dating site or the dating app fairly quickly, and they will try to move it to another medium like Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp. And, so they will do that. They will then, a lot of times they'll proclaim high education and then talk to you on the phone, and their English isn't very good or their grammar. So what's going on with these online dating scammers, it's typically a group of them. They're an underground group. It's massive. There are different ones. And they will, they're basically, imagine it's another way of being the mafia. They're looking for ways to actually get money, launder money, or launder items to cover up their own criminal activities through an individual such as yourself. So they will, and let's just say they seem, you talk to them, they seem fine, and they pass those tests, but but they're doing things to really try to draw you in romantically. They will oftentimes dangle the carrot at you of, booking a flight to come visit you, and then all of a sudden there's some tragic event that happens. Something else that's very common for online scammers is they'll normally say they're widowed, or they have a disabled child, or there's just some, twisted, weird tragedy. And not that real life people don't have these things. I'm not suggesting that. These are just typical things that you want to be aware of when it comes to online scammers. They might try to communicate with you for months and months and months. Like I said, make those attempts to see you, and then eventually they will be in a bad position and will ask you to transfer money to them. And, in the sense of they're borrowing it, or they will ask to use your bank account to put funds into your account for you to transfer it for them. Just weird things, or send you valuables like computers, cell phones, electronics to be sent elsewhere, which again, this is all criminal activity. So if you say, oh, sure, I'll transfer that to, whatever account number you give to me. If you're in the middle of that, that's a scam. You see what I mean? Yeah, their grammar is not correct typically. So those are some things to look at. Some things that, if intuitively you're feeling like, gosh, something might not be right, you can actually put their image, their picture that, from their dating site on the internet and do a search and see where else that picture turns up. And, a lot of times you will see that picture on different dating sites, that it actually belongs to a person or is a magazine. It's crazy. And there are different, profiles that are attached to that. So typically there are several. So there's that piece. You can ask for their email and do an email search for them, and you can usually find out a lot of information through that. Also, Facebook can be telling too. If they've shown you one picture from online and you're communicating through Facebook Messenger and certain things don't seem to be aligned on their Facebook profile, that's a huge red flag too. So while I don't like to focus on scams or scammers, they are out there. It's a fact of life. It's in our world. It's in our space these days. And you you can copy the picture and do a reverse pixel search. You can actually Google that. I don't know how to, I haven't done it personally, but I've had a lot of clients that have done it and it works. So there's that piece, you guys. And it's, one thing I want to share with you is, here's the deal. When you're talking to someone online, the point is to turn it into a meeting as soon as possible. And as women, we a lot of times are, we want to be nice and we want to give them space and time to, get together with us. And, this is the one area, online to offline, that I will recommend that you can actually lead a little bit. And part of the reason for that is because if he's just a normal guy, men don't always know the appropriate timing to go offline or to, or to meet, or what you're going to feel comfortable with. And don't be afraid to say, you know what, after a few messages, say, gosh, I find it easier to see if there's more of a connection by meeting in person. Let me know if you're up for a coffee sometime soon. So I share with my clients all the time this particular line to help them in order to create more meetings. Now, if the guy says, oh yeah, sure, that would be great, and just continues chatting with you, then you want to say, hey, let me know if are you still up for that coffee? And if, I understand how life gets busy sometimes. If not, just wishing you a happy holiday season. And what happens too with a guy that is really interested or motivated to meet someone, he's going to say, oh yeah, sure. And then you want to have a quick 10-minute phone chat just to make sure you can put a couple sentences together, right? But if the guy just continues chatting, almost ignores you, you want to stop communicating with them. You just want to be like, that last message is my sign to sign off. Because you're not really looking for a pen pal with love, right? What you are looking for is a real true connection. So you want to get out there. You want to meet people in person. You want a real connection with someone that shares similar values as you. So it's important to know that there are some people, and that could be a scammer. It may not be. It could just be somebody that is really not in the place to be meeting someone for whatever reason. Maybe they're, separated in the process of a divorce, and they're just dipping their toe in the water, or, just personally, they're going through some things in their life that they're not feeling, they're not at their optimum place, right, of positivity in this area. So, and there's nothing you can do to drag somebody out of it. It's got to be their decision. And you really want to connect with someone who's ready to meet people, or who is actively dating. And, a quick story for you. Actually, let me back up for a minute. I have clients that are all ages that are experiencing catfishing, or experiencing people that are attempting to catfish. So it's not just one age category. I remember, one of my clients that's in her 30s, she's been dating, and she told me about this guy that, said he was in the military and his wife had died, and I was like, oh, tell me more. And he wanted to take the conversation offline onto WhatsApp, which is, again, another red flag. And supposedly they were in the same state, and he was trying to turn it into a connection on WhatsApp, which doesn't really make sense typically, because most people use WhatsApp as a resource to connect through, if you're not actually in the same country, right? So there's that piece. And so she was a little confused, and I don't think she'd ever used that app, and she had asked him if he was actually, was he in America, or was he, you know, he had said he was in the military, so was he stationed someplace else? And I don't know if he answered her or what happened, but at any rate, we definitely figured out that it didn't line up, and he was, in fact, a scammer. So it happens, you guys, and I'm really being mindful without being paranoid is what I recommend. And, you know, continuing to have fun in the process. I mean, there's been, you know, we've had mafia and underground sort of criminal activity in our world since it began. It just looks differently today in the technological age than it did when, you know, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, even. So I hope this helps you. Let me know if you have questions, comments, anything else, or anything else coming up around this subject of the online scammers, because, you know, more information enlightens and supports you guys as something to be aware of, all right? And, you know, another thing, and I can't say this enough because this is really important for your safety's sake. Make sure you're not giving men your real phone number in the beginning. You give them a sideline, you download the app Sideline or a Google Voice number, and because people can Google your phone number and actually find out where you live. And, you know, something else to really keep in mind with these online dating scammers, they could be dangerous too. They could find you, hurt you, have your address. I mean, you just don't know. And again, this is not to be paranoid. It's to be like, let's look at the realism of this situation. Okay, you guys? So I'm sending you so much love, and I want you to know Thanksgiving, we're going to take a day of thanks and a day of rest, and Liz, I just can't help it but pop on here. And I hope this was helpful. Again, I'm sending you guys so much love. Have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll talk to you soon. Mwah.